Morning, one and all. How are we? Okay, so let's start with this one, which is the Euro Aussie. We've got the Fibonacci coming back to the 50. Bit of a horizontal there. News Aussie Business Conference here. ECB's on the 10th of July, are they? ECB. Oh, Draghi's talking on Wednesday night. Okay. Horizontal resistance. Yeah. Okay. That all looks good. Momentum's in a fair position. Obviously, the business conferences gave a bit of a boost to the Aussie this morning, and you should be in that and looking good. That's this one here, Euro Aussie. Yep. Okay. What have I got here? The Aussie dollar. The trend line support there, is there? Didn't pick that up. We joined these two. What would happen if you joined that one and that one? That looks better. You got 1, 2, 3 touches trading on the fourth. Bit of a horizontal there. Business lower highs and lower lows. You want higher highs and higher lows, don't you? If you're going long, you want higher highs and higher lows, which you're getting in the cyclicity. Not lower highs. Above the moving averages, off the 50, horizontal resistance, convergence. Fib retracement and trend line resistance, yes. Trend line support. Yep. So in this cycle here, we're getting higher highs and higher lows, not lower highs, lower lows. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Then we're looking at dollar CAD. Dollar CAD, which fib extension would you use? Okay, with the dollar CAD, I've looked at it in the longer time frame. So I've looked at it on the weekly, and we have this quite strong established trend line. The market's bouncing off that, and if we do the cycle from the last time it was on that trend line, then we've got the 618 here is offering a bit of support. We come back to the daily. There's also that horizontal off the monthly, off this high back here. Come back to the daily, and we're back through that off the trend line. 618 is just down here. But if you're looking for extensions, what you could be doing is say, well, there's the last phase 2, and we're getting in on the sort of 2 area. So we certainly have the divergence and momentum starting to move back to the upside. So there's every possible reason for that. But that's, if you're going to do an extension, that's where I would do it. But as you noticed, I've done the weekly. We've got fib support. It can be support from a fib retracement in the bigger move, or support from fib extension from the last phase 2. Either one would suffice for the trade. Okay. pound trend. Okay. Pound. Big resistance there, which might now be support. Okay. Also used to take profit. Okay, so you're using Mark's methodology of ATR. Ring high for strong horizontal, certainly divergence, extension, resistance, and you're using ATR short of 2.15. Normal prop using Mark's ATR trade management gives us an entry stop at 60, 71.92, 71.73, 17, 49. So you risk slightly better risk reward if you're using the ATR. Okay. And the cable, yeah, it's being patient there. Ali's done a nice little high test though. And what else you got in here? ADR high. ADR. American deposit receipts. I thought ADR was. So you got two targets on it. Okay. Okay, that's all good, mate. I don't mind you using Mark's methodology of using the ATR to manage your stops. As long as you sort of note that's what you're doing. It's all good. So risk 1 to 1.82, 0.5%, 7102, 7192, 93. Yeah, that's about similar to what I've got. RSI divergence class B. Yeah, the same top with the divergence there. That's good. Fib extension. Yep, perfect. Happy days. Okay. Aussie dollar. And your higher highs above support, horizontal support, convergence, bullish, no levels, resistance, fib retracement, support, trend line, hidden divergence. Yeah, well, yeah, you could say that. If you're coming from this point here, it's around there somewhere. You got hidden divergence. Yeah, from there to there. Okay. Well, yeah, you've used that one instead of using this one. I'd say you've used that one because that's the close above the 50, is it? No, that's the close above the 50. Either way, you've got the divergence there. So that's a good pickup. Going in there, he stops under here. Very good. Set a target when placing the order. Okay. It's okay, I don't mind you doing that. You can place targets. Not a problem in doing that. Okay. Advice, please. What have we got here? CAD. Phase 2. Place 3 trades. Place 3 trades for you to have a look at. I reduce my risk on the Euro CAD as it's trend reversal. It's a trend reversal. In the Euro Yen, as I already have risk on the Euro, I'm currently short the Euro and the Euro Sing, and neither are doing so well at the moment, although they may well turn in my favour during the day. On the 4 hourly chart, so I play smaller risk on the set above, given the setup looks quite good and I've been chosen to go on in. I'm interested in the Euro Aussie, although it's going nowhere fast at the moment, and consolidating the 4 hourly. Also looking at the Euro Pound and the CAD Yen for tomorrow potentially. I'm also interested in the CAD Sing going long, but there appeared to be support. I was interested in what Mark said about its cup and saucer pattern. Alright, okay, so the CAD here, phase 2, small percentage. Measured that little phase 2 few extensions, as you would have seen in mine. There's your decent phase 2 to go from. Certainly got the divergence there. Confirmation bar seen today, yes. As mentioned, it's there. It hasn't got in yet, but it's there. Yep. CAD Sing, you want to go long. I think what we're seeing here is a phase 2. I'd be looking to go long from somewhere around here. And you've got your 50 fib B there. That's where I'd be looking to go long from. Okay. Euro CAD. Extension is 2. There is divergence. I certainly got the confirmation bar. Seems like everybody is taking profit out of the CAD now after its long run, even though they had great building approvals last night. And there's your extension. Is there any support level around that? Yep, good support to be trading from. You got your extension. There's divergence from these lows to these lows. It's certainly setting up. Now you seem to have a lot of Euro positions on. You're talking that you short the Euro and the Euro Sing, and you want to go short the Euro Aussie and the Euro Pound whilst you're going long this. Just be careful with having so many Euros on. If it can look good or can look terribly, terribly bad. And that's, to me, you need to manage that exposure. Okay, so the euro dollar, not sure why it's not doing so well for you. It looks all right, even with the slippage. Euro Aussie is doing okay. Euro CAD, looking as a pullback. What I noticed on the Euro CAD though is a little setup on the 4 hour. But with that support line there, to be a little nervous. Euro Pound, not yet. You've only got one buyer bar. I wouldn't be looking at that just yet. Maybe tomorrow. Euro Yen is heading south. So overall, the euro is more bearish than bullish across all its pairs, except for the Euro CAD. So that's would mean the CAD would have to get significantly weaker for it to, for this to get any sort of decent result. Is that possible? Yeah, it is possible, but just be careful of your exposure is my main concern there. You've reduced the risk on each one. Okay, good. Euro CAD phase 2, yeah. That's good, we looked at that. Euro yen phase 1 short. The tracement, this is you're looking for an extension down to here. Horizontal resistance, bearish price action, resistance, hidden divergence. No, okay. Trendline support. Trendline support, I wouldn't suggest that because this is only your second touch. Remember, with trendline support, we trade on the third touch, not the second. I mean, you can say that there's a trend line established now because you've got 2 touches, but you can't say that there's trend line resistance there because you've only joined these two touches. You need to be trading off the third, such as like the Aussie dollar we just saw. You could even potentially extend that down to there. Say 1, 2, I'll trade on the third. You got the fourth, yeah, but you can't be trading. Just link these two and say, hey, there's my 2 touches, or there's trendline support. You need to have more than that, okay? So just be aware of that. Otherwise, yeah, the Euro Yen has got the horizontal resistance, and it's now heading south. With the Japanese, the yen getting a little stronger there this morning off their data. Yep. Okay, Aussie dollar daily. Oh, sorry, CAD Sing going along as a consolidation. I was interested in what Mark said about the cup and saucer. I have no idea what a cup and saucer is, except that's something you drink tea from. As I said, it's certainly pulling back with a bit of the profit taking out of the CAD, and I'd be looking to get long in here, not out of this consolidation phase. Okay. It was a cup and handle pattern. Okay. My imagination must be a bit weird because I can't see anything cup or handle there. Maybe that's your cup. Who knows? Anyway, each to their own. If you want to look at it like that, then that's fine. Just document it, highlight it, showing what you're trading and what the pattern is, and yeah. Okay. Thoughts on your analysis here on the Aussie dollar. Okay. Again, have a look at the trend line I've drawn. There is trend line support there, but I don't think these 2 touches are enough of it. If fib you've got in the right place, yep. You haven't drawn the horizontal on there, but there is one there in the sense that you go off these lows, you get these highs across here, pretty much where my stop is. Yeah. Go away. Go across there, yeah. And you get horizontal support. Yes, it hasn't touched it, but it isn't a perfect science, as I've said before. But no, that's not you. This is you. RSI convergence. It is. Price is following it. There's even hidden divergence, but price is following. Sorry, RSI is following price, so that's convergence. Yeah. Fib retracement. Okay. 93.81. Yeah, so you're in 15 and 3 times your risk. Okay, so you're in now. Let's just a matter of managing this trade. Good stuff. Right. A whole bunch of questions. I wouldn't be looking to get in yet until the confirmation of a ring lower. Okay. Our heads are spinning with patterns. There's a longer trend line that works from the bottom of the uptrend. Sorry about the caps. Okay, what pair are you talking about? There's a longer trend line. You're talking about the Aussie? If you go down to there. Look, if you're going to do that, the reason why I would be looking at it from one of these lows here is because this is the one that broke this move here, from here to there, broke that significant high. Okay, yeah, you can draw a trend line from that low there and pick that up, and you're just poking your head above it now. That's true, but I would also be saying, well, hey, you know, we've got this trend line here, and you know, this move back here failed to make a higher high, and it was still looking as sort of as if it could be re-engaging in the downtrend, and until this move from here then broke that significant high here of the last cycle of the downtrend. Right? And from that point on, it was, you could say, well, we're in a bullish mode. People were looking at this as a reverse head and shoulder pattern at one point. That didn't sort of really eventuate, but you know, there's certainly, this is from this point on was a significant moment because it broke that that high there, and we went on and you know, had that decent cycle. Yes, sure, this is a valid trend line too, though, as is, you know, if you look at it, that one there, you could be looking at that point, but you know, now it's null and void because we're underneath it, and that'll be more of a resistance line than anything else. Okay. Higher highs. Entries 83, 93, 81 again as well, and the stops at 15. You all got the same levels. That's good. Higher highs above the EMAs. EMA support. Horizontal soft support. Good. RSI convergence. Yes. Bullish price action. Fib retracement. Yeah. Note the trend line that we've been just been analysing as well, because that's also something you could be adding to your checklist. Yeah. Otherwise, that's good. And dollar Sing. Dollar Sing. Give me dollar Sing. Okay, no, Aussie dollar. I've got to bring this across. This was. Let's move this over here so I can read the email. This was embedded in the email, so unfortunately I have to do it like this. Looking at the weekly here, what the gentleman's noticed is that we've got this cycle. We're getting lower highs, lower lows on the weekly. It's come back to sort of this this low here as resistance, but noticing that there's hidden divergence from this high to this high here, and then we're getting divergence from this high to this high across here on the weekly. So that would be suggesting that there's little left in the momentum of this weekly here, or that there's, you know, the buying pressure is coming out of the market, and that we're probably looking at re-engaging in a new downtrend. And I'd have to go with that argument. That's why I wrote in my report this morning saying, I'm not sure how strong this is. I'm not going to be putting a huge amount of capital behind this trade. I'm not really a believer of the Aussie bull story at the moment. I haven't been, even though I went up and tagged 95. But certainly things looking, got that divergence there, yeah. And things looking a little sort of weaker on the weekly. Yeah. So I'd be treating this with kid gloves, so to speak. And that's a fair call. Appreciate you bringing that to our attention. You can find stronger setups on the weekly than what this one has. Such as the CAD, CAD phase 2 on the weekly. It's, in effect, it's a new phase 1 off this trend line. Yeah. So that's sort of confirming that the momentum's overdone. It's a new phase 1 on the weekly, and that's confirming what we're looking at on the daily. Whereas the Aussie, the new phase 1 on the daily, the weekly is sort of in the opposite idea. So it's always a good idea to go and check the longer time frames. Do you feel more positive about the Aussie Swiss? Euro Aussie? Well, put it this way, I'm short the Euro and I'm long the Aussie. So in effect I am short the Euro Aussie, which is in effect long the Aussie Swiss. Does that make sense? Yeah, so I'm long this, I'm short this, so in effect that makes me short this pair, which is okay because that's going in the right direction as it should, and which in effect is pretty much the same as being long this. So that answers your question. Okay, back to this email on the dollar Sing trend reversal. Bit of a strong support line here. Divergence, yes. Fib extension from there to there. Okay. Yep. It's a little hard to sort of get it in here when it's a double bottom or triple bottom as you pull that out. Waiting for that. And then on your weekly, so that's your daily, on your weekly, lower highs. On a weekly, you could almost say it's a range, wouldn't you? Yeah, you've got this support level here and this resistance level here, and at least you're coming off the bottom end of the momentum, which is good. Trendline support 786. Yeah, I'd say it's more of a resistance. Price action, just seeking your opinion. What intention analysis? Okay, the weekly ticks half the checklist for trend continuation to go long, similar to what I was just saying on the CAD. Yeah, that you're looking as a trend reversal or a range reversal on the daily, and the weekly is also indicating the same thing. So that's it's a good sort of pick up, a good realization. Oh, what? Oh, yeah. That's tempting. And then the top of the hour to be looking at that. Sorry, I digress. What I was looking at is the Sing, dollar Sing. Okay. I was just going to see if this extension here is 1.272. There's another way to look at extension, which is a little different to the big one that you've got. Big one you've got supports the triple bottom. Yeah. Is there a setup? Just a quick question. If price action is a little confusing, like the attached weekly chart, how would you score a checklist? Number one, lower highs for trend continuation. Okay, on the weekly. Yeah, so you need this buy bar in today's to warrant taking this, and I'd probably looking at as a potential. Yeah, you've got the bottom end of this range. There's a potential of coming across here, this area, as your target. But if we look at the weekly, as I said, you also got this these tops across here. So with this weekly, as I said, I don't, you've got lower lows, you've got higher lows across here. All your lows are higher. All your lows are higher, but the highs are not higher. So as I said, I'd kind of be more inclined to look at this as a range trade, either on the weekly or the daily. There's certainly a lot of horizontal levels everywhere here, but that's with the momentum to the downside. The daily, if you get the signal on the daily, then yeah, that's where I'd be looking at either targeting this one or that one there. Okay. Looking at the weekly, I wouldn't say this is a trend continuation going long. There's no trend line. There is horizontal, but that's more because of it's more of a range sort of thing. Does that make sense? Okay. Pound short on the 4 hour or 1 hour. Okay. Yeah, look, I traded this last night on the 1 hour, and that's why I was looking at it again today. Went in here, got out over here. Didn't make a hell of a lot out of the trade, but there was a bit of something there, so to speak. And I'll certainly have a look at this now again. So if we've put your fib on, we've got tagged the 786. You can see that there's a bit of support resistance across here. You got the 50. We know that the daily is trying to do its phase two. Hasn't really confirmed the trend, but it would be worth putting 1/4% on this one here to see how that goes. Leaving the daily one in there because that's 0.5% anyway. So that would mean I'd have 0.75% on it. 1/4 being the phase one on the hourly, and 1/2 being the phase two on the daily. So having a look at your short 1 hour. Yeah, I think I went in the bar before you. I went in up there. I don't think my stop was that high. I think my stop was above that. Yeah. Strong resistance, RSI, divergence. Don't know what this is. I'm not looking at divergence. You don't want to really see divergence. This is convergence. I'm not seeing divergence. Yeah, from that high to that high, it's all convergence. Yeah, so I went in there with a stop above that. I've got RSI convergence. You can't have Fibonacci resistance because it's you start your fib from here and it's closed above that anyway. So you've got the horizontal, you've got the convergence, and you've got was a bit more of a Hail Mary than anything, but now there's certainly something there worth looking at. Okay, a gentleman asked about the Kiwi yesterday morning on the hourly. Generally I don't trade until the European session on the shorter time frames. So we've got this ring high. The question was, is this ring high here a valid ring high to trade? And you'd have to say yes. I mean, I don't normally trade Monday mornings. It's not until Monday afternoon that I get involved. Purely because there's only half the world's really seen the price action, and especially after a US long weekend, they haven't had any influence in the marketplace. But yeah, it's technically that's something you could look at on the hourly as having a potential trade. There's a bit of a horizontal cross here that it's reacted to, the 618, and you'd be coming in here. Your risk reward wouldn't have been that great, but you would have made money because you would have come in here and your stop would have been 15, 20 pips. Let's call it 20 pips, and you would have probably had your stop above there for 8 pips. So you would have made money, but not a great deal. But yes, there's certainly that's a technical setup that you can look at. Personally, I just avoid Monday mornings, but that's just my own personal thing. Right, hidden divergence, pound, that is. Hidden divergence on the alley now. Yeah, you could say that. From that high to that high, you've got hidden divergence, yes. Bars are short though on the hourly. Bars are short, yeah. It's tighter trading. Do we are about that? Don't make sense, mate. Do we are about that? Well, if you guys are all platinum traders, so you can trade the hourly. Aussie's looking bullish. Euro's going sideways. Kiwis bullish to sideways. CAD's bullish. I'm trying to work out where the US dollar is going here. US dollar is going down against the yen, up against the CAD, down against the Kiwi, down against the Aussie, sideways against the euro, and up against the pound. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, really, isn't it? Although the pound is, from a daily point of view, coming off, yeah. So we expect that to happen. As I said, I'm not going to put a lot of capital behind this trade, as I didn't put a lot of capital behind that one, but it's certainly worthwhile looking at because there's a potential there. Do we care? Sorry, do we care about that pound? Do we care about that? Do we care that the bars are short on the alley? What do you mean, like the ATR? Is what you're talking about? Yeah, on the talking 8 pips. Do we care about that? No, not really. Just means our stop's going to be smaller. For our lot size can sometimes be bigger, but you're still risking the same percentage. Yeah. Okay. tiny ring high with short bars. I'm not too worried about that. As I said in the course, if you can't manage the trade on the time frame you're entering it on, such as the hourly, then do not take the trade. Sometimes taking these trades can lead to long nights, with red eyes. But anyway, okay, that's it for emails and analysis. Appreciate you guys sending them in. It's all good, and that's us for the day. Now is a good time for an hourly trade. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's not ideal in the fact that the daily hasn't really set a trend yet. Yeah. But we have all the reasons to enter the trade on the daily. So it is the ideal with hourly trade is when there is a trend established. And that's why I'm seriously looking at this Euro CAD on the 4 hour, because there's an established trend. The euro is getting weaker across the board, not stronger. So I'm not necessarily a buyer of this particular pair, but the 4 hour, that's an established trend. It's looking pretty good, isn't it? So with the Aussie, with the pound, it's not an established trend, but it's certainly something that's worthwhile looking at on the hourly. Okay, that's us done for the day. I shall see you tomorrow for the last one this week. As I'm heading back down under, I shall the next one after tomorrow is going to be a long time away, because I've got a week in Sydney, then a couple of days in Perth. So yeah. See you in Sydney. Cool. Target on the Euro CAD. Also, I'd be looking as a phase one trade. You could even look at this. It's a pretty big support line. You could even look at that going and getting tested again. If you're looking at trading the 4 hour, because you're looking at a 25-30 pip stop for a 62 to 1. On the daily, if you're taking this, you target 50 EMA if you think that this is a phase 2 trade worth taking. As per the rules, mate. They haven't changed. Alright guys, thank you. And I'll see some of you, if not all of you, next week in Sydney. Cheers.